Welcome to the Station Wagon. I'm the older brother, Marc.
And I'm little sister Julie. This is the podcast where my brother and I give up something we take for granted and tell you how it goes.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride. So, hey, Julie, how's it going?
Keep your pants on, Marc.
Are you saying that dumb thing because of this episode, Julie? Because that was really terrible. Is that your segue?
That was my segue into our topic.
Right.
Giving up trousers or pants. Well,
for our friends in the UK, we are going to keep our underwear on. So I am keeping my pants on, but I'm taking my trousers off. So are you, right?
I'm already getting nauseous.
What do you mean?
Just hearing you talk about underwear.
What?
So it just began. Okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay. Anyway.
Because you're not used to the concept of underwear, don't you wear underwear? What is the deal?
Okay, I do wear underwear and I do wear pants.
I, in fact, remember that both you and I had really spiffy underoos. I was Superman and you were Wonder Woman.
Oh my gosh, that was the best. I felt so strong in that stuff. And one time I tried to fly and it didn't work.
Right. And then you turned 38. And then what happened?
And once I turned 38, I was too old to join the FBI.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I've been watching Criminal Minds on Netflix. And the other day I was like, I want to be in the behavioral analysis unit. I'm a psychologist. And I looked it up, but you have to be 37 or younger.
Interesting. I've never heard of Criminal Minds.
Okay, on to the episode.
Okay, so we're going to give up wearing trousers for this episode, Julie. So we'll get into exactly what that is. You want to get into it now?
Slacks, trousers, pants, two-legged things that you wear.
Right. So are we giving up shorts, short pants?
No, because those have leg separators.
So you mean, yes, we are giving them up.
Yes, we are giving those up.
Stay with me, Julie. Come on.
Okay, yes.
Okay, are we giving up culottes? I just learned about that today.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yes, we are giving up culottes, skirts, anything that has leg separators as far as outer garments.
Yoga pants?
Giving them up.
What about jeggings and meggings?
Giving up jeggings, what are meggings?
Man jeggings, yes.
Yes, we're giving up all of those,
Okay.
which will lead to some interesting questions later about exercise.
Oh, that's interesting.
Isn't it? That's what I said. Can I have
Okay.
a quiz? Because I'm so going to do well on it.
Quiz music, quiz music, quiz music. All right, so how short are skirts allowed to be in the Snoqualmie Valley School District? And here's your choices. Ready?
20 inches.
1 inch below. Do you mind? 1 inch below the knee.
Okay.
2 inches below the knee.
Oh my gosh.
1 inch above the knee. Or end of the fingertips.
Oh, geez. I guess 1 inch above the knee.
Wrong. End of fingertips.
Okay. Wait, let me stand up and see what
where would that be? Well, you've got gorilla arms.
I do, but from my gorilla arms, my fingertips are more than 1 inch above the knee.
More than 1 inch above the knee. So yeah, we were talking about this.
What about yours? Stand up and see.
Okay, hold on. They're a good 7 inches above my knees. So
Maybe for children, their arms are disproportionately longer, like how their eyes are disproportionately bigger.
Right. Or their loud mouths are disproportionately more annoying.
My children's aren't.
No, neither are mine, of course. Julie, yeah, so end of fingertips. But my family and I were talking about this and wondering how, oh no, what's her name from the book and that song and the poem?
What are you talking about?
The girl who has
Junie B. Jones.
No, the girl who has she had
Margaret Thatcher.
She had 2 teeth in her mouth, one pointing north and one pointing south. No, it'll come to me. Let's move on.
Okay.
So you failed that one. Good job. What was the problem with Mel Gibson's kilt in the movie Braveheart? And here's your choices. Ready?
Okay.
Letter A, it was too short. Letter B, Scotsmen didn't wear kilts at that time.
Oh.
Letter C, plaid
for B.
didn't represent his tribe. Oh,
Ooh,
choose all that apply, by the way.
Oh.
And last, the kilt was never worn the way it was depicted.
B and C.
Which was the thing about Scotsmen didn't wear the kilts and plaid didn't represent his tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it half right. So Scotsmen
Woo!
didn't wear kilts when the movie took place. It was depicted in the 1300s, but they actually didn't wear kilts until the 1700s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the kilt was never worn the way it was depicted. In fact, I read a description of it that it was such a weird way of wearing a kilt. It would be like a movie of, I don't know, like the medieval era with
Hmm.
people wearing tuxedos with all of the suit coats on backwards.
Oh my goodness, really? Wow, that's
Right. So like
extreme.
I went and looked at the movie or the pictures from the movie, and yeah, the kilts are like the fabric goes around their waists and then goes up over their shoulders, like it's
Oh
all connected.
yeah.
So I think that's what they're referring to.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so you got half one on that one.
All right.
Okay, so
That's
this is
something.
so that's something, a little something for you. I hope that makes you feel good, Julie.
I feel great.
This next question I picked up the answers to from the website Girls Ask Guys.
Okay.
And from the Girls Ask Guys website, why are skirts better than pants? Name two reasons.
The girls are asking the guys, so the
This is
males
actually
are
no.
responding.
The website, to be honest, website people is a bit of a misnomer because it actually is girls ask guys question, guys ask girls question, and they can respond to each other. So these answers are actually from the top rated girl answer.
Okay, this is a
And I have
female
actually,
user.
right, and I actually have six here. You just have to name two of these correct.
Okay, this is confusing. Okay, one, if you're in the woods
No.
and you need to pee,
Oh, yes.
you're less likely to get pee on yourself.
I'll give it to you. Go ahead.
Okay, wow.
That, like,
All right.
that basically means there's fewer clicks, right?
Well, no, actually, I was thinking more like the stream of pee.
Oh, yeah, that may be so, but that's really good. Okay, so you can get the skirt up and out of the way easier. Very good. That wasn't one of the ones, but I'll give you an extra point for that one. That was good. Next.
Okay, if you have a really nice fabric that shows like a whole bunch of kittens or something, you can see more of the picture on a flat skirt. Whereas
Oh
if
my
it's like
God.
broken up into pants
That's the
and you want
dumbest
to
thing I've
see
ever heard.
the
Who thinks that
picture,
way? Do women actually think that way?
clothing makers,
When they make a
tailors,
skirt, they try to really? Okay.
I don't know if I'm like piecing it together and I want there to be like a whole array of kittens on my legs and I have
Really?
pants, then it's going to be
You use
disruptive
it as a
to life.
tapestry instead of just something to keep your body covered.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to try one more time? Since that was
Sure.
also a good one, but not one of the ones I found.
I don't think that was even a good one. They're cuter. I don't know.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
More airflow when it's hot and a sticky day. It's definitely cooler to wear a skirt than shorts or
Ooh,
pants.
good point.
You can wear a skirt in a professional setting.
Uh-huh.
You can't wear shorts most of the time. Therefore, you can be cool in a skirt on a hot day and still look professional.
Okay. Fair enough.
Is that fair? Okay.
Yeah.
Skirts are versatile. This person can go from work to the mall to the beach in a skirt without looking overdressed or underdressed. It's hard to pull that off in dress pants or shorts.
Yeah.
They are more comfortable than shorts. Absolutely no wedgies or riding up.
That's true.
Way easier to go to the bathroom than tight pants or shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And skirts are less confining. You can move a lot more freely than you can in pants or shorts.
That is pretty in line with some of the research I found.
So that was the quiz, Julie. I'd say that was pretty good. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did really well. Nice job.
Thank you. Did I get all of them 100% correct?
No, I would give you the third question. You nailed that one, even though you didn't guess the ones that I thought of.
Okay.
And that second one you got half right. And the first one you totally failed.
All right. So that's an A.
Yeah, totally. Good job.
Okay. History?
Do you want to keep hearing me talk?
Yeah, I do actually.
So the first known skirt was dug up from Armenia, and it was dated back to 3900 BCE.
Wow. Okay, that's a long time ago. What kind of material was that made out of?
Yeah, it looks like it's made out of some kind of like plant weave, like a straw or
Well,
straw.
how did it not decompose? Are you lying then or were you lying now?
I might be lying both times, but I've got a picture of it and links to the website where they talk about it.
Okay.
I think it was in a cave where there was very little oxygen and kind of cool.
All right. I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you. So the first known mini skirt was dug up outside of Egtved, Denmark in 1921, and that mini skirt dates back to 1390 BCE.
Are you sure it wasn't underclothing?
They are not, well, they, I don't know, Julie. You and I could sit around guessing all day long, but the professionals who found the body said it was wrapped in this and no other clothing. So they just
Mm,
assumed,
okay.
right? And they actually, by looking at it and what the remains were, reconstructed something similar. And there's a picture of the reconstruction.
Oh, cool. I got to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat in the show notes. 1300 BCE is the first evidence of pants.
So skirts predated pants.
Yes, and that makes a lot of sense considering that pants were not really used until people started domesticating horses and other animals you could ride on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's a lot easier to ride a horse if you can sit astraddle it.
Exactly right. 1851, bloomers hit the marketplace and hit the scene. They were popularized by Amelia Bloomer. Did you know that there was actually a person named
I
Amelia?
didn't, but they
Yeah.
were scandalous, right?
They were scandalous. They were actually based on Turkish style pants. And you can imagine like a Turkish style, like puffy pants.
Yeah.
So the bloomer outfits had those, but like a short skirt over them.
Oh, there was a skirt over them.
Yeah, but you could still see the bloomer leggings below.
Oh my gosh, that's so hot.
So it was really scandalous. And I included in the show notes a cartoon from the era. And it was really scandalous because it was part of the suffragette movement and part of the progressive women's movement back then. And men were really threatened by it. Really threatened by this idea that, oh, wait a second, women now have the ability to walk around more freely and do work and not catch on fire by accident and stuff like that. So you'll see in the cartoon that there's, that's basically the message there is this threatened old man.
I can't wait to see that.
1957 was the first dog pantsuit.
Wait, no, what? Wait, I'm sorry.
What?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, 1957.
Okay.
Leica wore the first dog pantsuit.
Oh my God.
Do you want to guess what Leica was doing in this suit?
Riding in a spaceship to outer space in a Russian shuttle.
You are like 80% there. She was the first dog to go into space, and her pantsuit was, of course, an astronaut.
An astronaut.
Right. And I have a capture of what that suit looks like.
Oh, that should have been a quiz question.
Oh, come on. You would have failed it.
Oh.
But she rode up in Sputnik 2, actually.
Right. That's what I was looking for.
Right. Not the shuttle. That wasn't, around.
Oh, because I said the word shuttle.
Yeah, Julie, we aim for specificity in this show. Come on. So, unfortunately, Leica did not return to Earth. Well, actually, that's not true. She did return to Earth, but she was a bit crispier than when the cooling systems in the Sputnik failed, and she died from overheating.
Oh, Jason is not going to like this episode.
Yeah, and then she got cooked upon re-entry.
Okay, we get it.
Poor Leica. All right. Early 1970s, David Hall, who's a Stanford professor, he tried to popularize wearing skirts among men. Have you ever heard of him?
Really? No.
Yeah, he actually was selling skirts spelled SKERTS for men back then.
Oh, so manly.
But in one of the articles that I read about him, he said it never really caught on. And there's a picture in the website because on our show notes, and it's really interesting and different. I wanted to include this because it's so different than the utility kilts, right? Presentation, which is his whole thing was that wearing a skirt, he thought all men should wear skirts as a fundamental step towards arm control, since he's trying to promote some type of garment that can be associated with disarmament. And he goes on and says, only women wear skirts and they don't go to war. So there's an obvious association between the garment and pacifism.
Stupid.
Is that stupid?
Yeah.
What women go to war in skirts?
What? No, I'm just saying I could strap a gun to my thigh and get at it real easy.
Have you, Julie? Have you?
I think that's my personal information.
That's true. You're right. I thought that was a pretty spurious association, too. In the year 2000, the store Utilikilts opened in Seattle.
Yay!
Yeah. So you know what that store is, Julie?
Yeah, I do. It's down by like Pioneer Square.
Yeah. No, you
And
don't have to tell me where it is. Don't give me the address and phone
you
number. Just
take a right when you get off the bus at the King Street station.
basically, it was it's the first store in Seattle. And not, I don't know about the whole country, but since we're, located in the Puget Sound, I thought I'd give some shout out. But yeah, the first store that positioned wearing a kilt as something that all men should be doing.
Or at least as like a possibility. It's definitely in this region in the realm of somewhat normal.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's normal as an average because I think most men don't have them yet.
Right.
But definitely you can walk around here and especially if you're in Seattle, see at least one guy in a kilt.
Right. And I've been looking around because
It's salient.
it's salient. We'll get into more of that later, but I haven't seen any today or yesterday.
Okay, well I take it back.
2016, Pebbles, our contributing
Oh my
puppy, has decided that she is going to give up wearing pants for good.
Oh, forever.
Forever. Yeah.
I will say my dogs have also not loved wearing pants when they've
Right.
been
That's true.
subjected to that treatment. I showed my kids the cool trick of if you take men's underwear and put it on a dog and stick their pants through the
Their
hole
tails
in
through
front.
the
Yeah,
hole. Yeah.
then it looks pretty awesome. But the dogs weren't a big fan, and neither was Jason.
I forgot about that one. I'm going to have to do that to Pebbles when this is over.
You just said you were.
I said what she wants to do, but does she really get a choice, Julie?
Good point.
Did Leica have a choice?
Oh, poor Leica.
See, I did a callback.
Nice. Very, very good humor there.
Thanks. So Julie, that was history. That is the complete history of skirts and pants.
Okay.
What? What were you going to say? What?
Well, I
Spit it
think
out.
some of the cultural stuff, it's just so huge. I don't think we're even going to be able to give it its fair shrift. Is that the right term? Of just how why it is that men started wearing pants.
Well, I can tell you.
Okay. Why didn't you tell us that?
Well, yeah. So, men started wearing pants because they were the ones on horseback, because they were the ones who were not raising the children back in ancient times, right?
But weren't women getting on horses too?
Maybe, but not nearly as much as the men.
Okay.
So the men were going out being warriors and using horses for that pursuit. And then they would just be wearing the pants. And then, yeah, besides those people that were on horseback, all men and women wore skirts essentially for thousands of years.
Okay. So what you're saying is only the people who needed to wear pants, which generally tended to be men, wore them.
Right.
Everyone else was wearing skirts. And so then it became associated with this cool warrior
breadwinning. But then it evolved, men wearing the pants and women wearing skirts evolved into this awful thing where women would wear skirts and high heels and all kinds of, complex outfits that they could barely move around in and were bad for their health. Debilitating to show how well their men could care for them and pay for their stuff.
Okay.
One of the other things that I found, which is super interesting, is, I was trying to, like you just said, not dive into this about the why men are wearing pants and women are wearing dresses, whatever, because first of all, it's a fallacy since both genders were wearing skirts for thousands of years. But if you go and look at religion, there's a quote in the Bible that says a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for the Lord your God detests anyone who does this.
Really? Wait, which Bible is that one?
That's the Jewish Bible.
Okay. So
right?
we're talking
what
Old
people call the
Testament here.
Stuff. So what's interesting about that quote, that's the only thing that people can point to as far as the gender separation for clothing. And nowhere does it mention skirts. And in fact, when that quote was entered into the Torah,
as they call it,
everybody was wearing skirts.
Right. So when they say men and women's clothing, it doesn't mean skirt versus pants. It means whatever style was common in the tribes.
Right. Or maybe one interpretation I read was men should be men and women should be women, whatever that means. That's more arbitrary stuff. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So this idea that it's skirts versus pants came from the evolution of riding horseback to becoming the breadwinners to becoming women as this is terrible, and please, you can yell at me, like being
Ah!
decorative, essentially,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right. I know
For
that's not your own assumption.
right,
Yeah.
right. That's not the way I think about it, but that's seems to be what happened. And this quote has been used to support that separation of skirts and pants in religious circles and in fundamentalism and conservatism. Is that a word?
Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
that,
science.
so yeah, you don't have anything to say?
No, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying yes, women should just be decoration, but I
No,
guess
I was trying
I
to
can see how that
explore.
progression happened.
I don't know, podcast listener, if you realize this, but I'm not an expert in fashion or putting together outfits that are color coordinated or why women wear skirts and men wear pants. So that's the best I could do in about a week's worth of Google searching to figure that one out. And it kind of makes sense to me. The logic flows to me.
Yeah. Well, so when I was doing the science stuff, there's two different aspects of it. One is just health science, and the other aspect is cultural science. And I decided not to get into the culture at all.
Okay.
And like the social science stuff of, okay, what are the perceptions of pants versus skirts? And well, I did do a little bit of that. But, what are people's perceptions of a man in a skirt or in slightly feminine
I guess I
clothes?
like to get into that because I was a soc major.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's interesting. But what I wanted to look at was just what are the health risks of pants versus skirts? Where does science fall? Which is better?
Oh,
So, what do you think?
interesting. The health risks. Well, what era are you talking about?
Right now, let's
Oh,
just
okay.
take away all the cultural stuff. Assume that there's no biases against pants or
Right.
skirts. You
Okay.
have some pants. Let's
Yeah.
say you've got some dungarees,
Right. I
blue
would say
jeans
that I
versus.
could list off at least three health risks from wearing pants.
Okay.
One is restricted, I don't know what you'd call it, like circulation or bodily functions because of the waistband pressing into your gut.
Yep.
I don't know what that would do, but maybe like if you're doing it really tight, it keeps your food from like going into your intestines correctly.
Okay, well, there's not evidence of that I found, but there was evidence that says pants make it harder to sit and stand. It does restrict movement, tighter pants, especially something like jeans.
And what
It,
about infertility issues?
yes, that's the other big thing for both men and women, actually.
Really, women's fertility is impacted by wearing pants?
That's right. Tight clothes can mess with a woman's menstrual cycle. In fact,
What?
yeah, when women in a study wore extremely tight clothes, their menstrual cycle was prolonged and it became like nearly 40 days for the who wore very tight clothes constantly for several months. Although it's unclear exactly how that influences fertility, but definitely it did mess with the menstrual cycle. For men, when they're in skirts instead of pants, they have improved sperm quality and higher fertility.
When you say quality, you mean like they're faster swimmers and more lively or what?
Yeah, healthier, faster swimmers, fewer that end up looking like you. That was me, huh? Sorry.
Are you thinking like it's like that Woody Allen movie where all the sperm have like little faces on them?
Yeah, it's like a combination of that and Look Who's Talking.
Oh God.
Okay, so can you think of any other health risks of pants or skirts?
Well, long skirts are you could trip over them when you go up and down stairs.
Fair enough.
You
Yes, I guess
could,
that's true.
right? You could, if you are wearing a long skirt around a campfire, you are a fire hazard.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
And that was definitely a problem in Victorian era with super long, bustly skirts because the rims of those skirts actually were packed with hay and straw and animal hair to make them stiff.
Oh, that's
So
wrong.
you were basically walking around in a tinder box.
Oh, that's terrible.
Tight pants, blood restriction. Like, could you cut off your circulation so much you might like your leg could fall off?
Yes, that's science in action. No, I didn't read any studies of that. Let me just help you out here.
All right. Okay.
All the science I found was anti-pants.
Really? Anti-pants science.
Pants makes it harder to sit and stand.
Uh-huh.
Also, the fertility issue.
Right.
Also, it makes us have less ability to tolerate the cold when we wear pants. In other words, so here's what they did.
All right.
They had subjects wear skirts for 3 months from
Okay.
September to November. They were like knee-length skirts.
Mhm.
So definitely the cold air as it became colder and colder was hitting their bare legs. And half the subjects wore skirts for those 3 months, and the other half wore pants for those 3 months every single day. The subjects who wore the skirts for those 3 months, later, after November, they put them in a cold room. The subjects who were wearing skirts, their body temperature didn't vary as much in the cold. They didn't need a blanket. Basically,
Whoa.
they like there's this natural progression of during September, October, November, they just became a better ability to tolerate the cold. Whereas the women who had been wearing pants that time, then it felt extremely cold.
That is super interesting because my whole family knows me as being really a freezy cat. And
Mhm.
I wonder if I wore a skirt for 3 months, if that would cure me.
If you wore it from September to November,
What if I wore it from September through May?
then especially so.
Unless I die from frostbite.
For women, clothing that's too tight traps heat and moisture, which makes yucky yeast infections.
Mm.
And so that's terrible. So it's possible that wearing skirts to exercise in might be really beneficial for health, although will look awkward,
You mean like a real skirt and not skirts?
right? Well, no, I guess a skirt would be fine. For this challenge, though, I'm not going to wear a skirt. But I think a skirt to exercise in would probably be better than the yoga pants, especially like nylon yoga pants and nylon exercisey pants.
Well, wait a second. I thought those things, the whole point of those was that they breathe real easily.
I think that's what the advertising on them says, but if
Hmm.
they're still nylon right around the crotch area, then that could promote yeast infection development.
Hmm.
It's yeast basically thrives in that kind of environment.
Interesting.
Okay, so let's talk about men.
Yoga
Men,
pants are so interesting, Julie.
I'm glad to know about your fascination with yoga pants.
Yeah.
I'm now erasing that from my memory.
Oh, God.
Men,
What about likeliness to procreate if they're wearing kilts? Does that increase or decrease?
it increases because men who wear kilts, they get a feeling of masculinity and pride and positive attention from sexual admirers.
Really?
Yes, I found a study that says you might have an excellent 2 weeks.
Wow. Wait, what do you mean by that?
I'm not going to spell it out for you. Like I said, I'll send you a book.
Okay.
But
Um,
in summary, science anti-pants.
Interesting. Wait, science is anti-pants. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
What do you have to say to that?
well, I
And-
want to know about this study. Like,
Okay.
how did they study that?
Well,
Did they follow like these guys around who are wearing skirts and like watch all the people winking at them or something down the street? What, how do they, or is it like all self-reported? Like, hey, I'm the guy in this skirt walking down the street. Yeah, you bet. I saw 10 times more people checking me out because you're weird looking.
is that your concern that you think you're going to be weird looking?
Yeah, I have several concerns about this. I am concerned just about, I don't think about anybody else's interaction with me. I'm concerned just about my own perception of myself as I go through my day.
So you're not worried about like being bullied or like some dude on the bus being like, "Hey, you're a man, but you're wearing a skirt and that's
No,
dumb."
well, the reason is because I'm like a middle-aged guy with, who's missing hair and I look like a dad. And so people don't generally talk to me on the street anyway because of that.
But now you're going to be identifiably having something interesting going on.
That is possible. But I think it's more, I'm not concerned about other people interacting with me. What I'm concerned about is feeling like other people are looking at me.
So the
staring
lack of confidence and just feeling awkward.
More like lack of personal space and the feeling that I can go through a city and, to paraphrase Marin Cadell, be in a populated place where no one really cares too much about me and I can just be there.
Okay. So it's like having a spotlight on you. Is
Right.
gonna be different.
That's what I feel like it's going to be like. As soon as I step out of the house, I'm going to feel like, oh, like Steve Martin in that movie.
The jerk.
No, the one where he was a
Roxanne.
weatherman or something. And he went to a restaurant by himself, and he was like, yes, when you go to a restaurant by yourself, you have to pretend you're a food critic because it feels like a spotlight comes on you.
What are your perceptions when you see a man in a utility kilt? So not just a feminine skirt, but in something that is absolutely made for men mostly, although women could wear utility kilts, but it's still a skirt.
Well, up to this point, it's been negative. Like, oh, are you a hipster, or are you like just jumping on the latest fashion trend, that kind of thing.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily bad, but that's
Right.
been my first perception.
Right.
If you are, I don't know, in Yelm or something, just be safe. Don't, if
Oh
you
my
have to.
God. Are you going to leave that in the recording? We might have listeners in Yelm.
Anti-Yelm.
Right.
I'm sure we do, but I don't know that they would feel safe wearing a kilt. Where was that city between Bloomington and Indianapolis where we would always say don't stop for gas there? But I'm just saying, if you are in a place that's not Olympia or Seattle, then, and you feel threatened, then just take that. Martinsville. Yep. Just take it seriously.
Right. Will do.
Okay. So we're going to take.
Wait, what are you going to be doing for this episode?
I'm going to wear a skirt. Whole bunch of different skirts.
Oh, okay.
And dresses.
And is that different for you than your normal?
Yeah, it is. I mean, during our We Dress Up Fancy episode, I wore a lot of skirts and dresses and things and makeup and stuff.
Right.
Normally, I am wearing pants every day almost. Unless I don't have any clean stuff and then I wear a dress.
Okay.
The only odd thing will just be exercising because I exercise a lot every day. And
really? It doesn't show at all.
I'll be wearing a skirt.
Great. Well,
okay,
let's check in, and I'll be probably putting up pictures on Facebook.
Yay! I can't wait to see. Okay, so you all are going to listen to the pleasure kills. We're going to go do our experiment, and we will be back shortly.
Bye-bye.
I love this thing. Just throw it in the washer and then drip dry it. I remember the first time I came to work in a skirt here, I definitely had that. Everyone's staring, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And the only person who said anything about it was Nick.
Okay, what did he say?
And all he said was, hey, you're a guy who wears a skirt. That's cool. And that was it. And I was like, oh, all right, who cares?
Everybody was asking, why are you wearing a skirt? Everybody, my friends in my neighborhood. I said it's for his podcast. And then I said nothing else.
If he wasn't doing it for a podcast, what would you think about him wearing that kilt around?
I don't think I would like that. I didn't like it very much in general.
I actually didn't think a thing of it. It's summer, so it just seemed pretty normal.
Let's say this is something he just wants to adopt as part of his regular wardrobe. Would you support that?
So if I can't say, oh, it's for his podcast.
Right.
Gosh, that's a good question, and made me realize that I might be less comfortable than I thought. It would take me a couple weeks. I think I would get used to it.
Thank you, Doug, Snarla, and Kendra.
The friends of this episode include the Washington Center for Performing Arts, the Olympia Farm Fresh Market, and DJ Eternal Darkness.
He sounds like such a nice boy.
He is. The Washington Center for Performing Arts is celebrating over 30 years of delivering diverse, affordable, high-quality performing arts programs to our community. Join them for their 31st season with Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award winner Rita Moreno on Thursday, October 13th. Tickets on sale at washingtoncenter.org or at this phone number. Write it down, 360-753-8586. Julie, is Rita Moreno from Sesame Street?
She was on Electric Company,
Right.
but that's not what she's really known for. I think her larger, more famous roles were West Side Story.
Oh.
And also she was on Oz. We also want to tell you about the Olympia Farm Fresh Market. It's on Olympia's west side. No membership to worry about, just fresh, local, organic goods. Learn more on Facebook at Farm Fresh Market. And by the way, the other day I got amazing Swiss chard there. It was so good. I love going there.
And the last friend I want to talk about is DJ Eternal Darkness's mixed bag of holding. It's an eclectic mix of steampunk, vile industrial, goth, industrial, 80s, and whatever else that happens to catch DJ Darkness's attention. You can hear it every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time at this URL. Write it down. darkmothermedia.com.
And we can put links to all this in our show notes, right?
I think, yes. And you can
Okay.
find links to all these places in our show notes, along with the phone numbers if you were not fast enough to write it down. But shame on you for not being a fast writer.
It's not your fault, listeners. Don't listen to him. So, are you still wearing a skirt right now? How did it go?
I am not wearing a skirt right now. I'm done
Right, 'cause it
wearing a
ended
skirt.
last night. How
Yes.
was it?
It was great.
What, really?
It had its ups and downs.
Well, I remember the first day you were really nervous. I mean, I remember getting texts from you and pictures of you looking at yourself in windows.
Right.
And a lady with a dog looked at you, apparently.
That's exactly right. And those ladies with dogs,
The
they're
worst.
freaky. In the show notes, you can see the skirt that we're talking about. And it's actually a kilt from a company called UT Kilts out of Utah. I guess that's what the UT stands for. Doesn't that make sense, Julie?
Yeah, or ut.
So I put it on, it fit great, whatever. And then I went outside of my house and I get up pretty early. No one else is around, but I still felt like there was a spotlight on me.
Oh.
Like I felt that everybody who wasn't there was actually watching me. It was weird just to have that feeling. And on that first day, I met up with one of our interviewees, Doug, who you've just heard from, at a cafe. And I showed up there first. And it was crowded, maybe 20 people in there or so. And again, I felt like that spotlight was on me. And then also
Wait, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, of
was
course.
it like the same feeling you had, if you could remember back to like being a middle schooler when you had that kind of invisible audience feeling like everything you are doing?
I don't know.
being-
I was snorting so much Ajax during that time period that I don't remember.
Okay.
But probably, Julie.
All right.
I mean, if you're just like, throwing your own experiences onto mine,
Yeah, I'm projecting.
then yes, the answer is yes. Also at work, Julie, I don't know what your work environment is set up. You work in like a cow shed or something.
Yep.
My work environment is open floor plan, and I have to walk down a very long aisle where there's lots of employees to get to my desk.
yeah.
So it's like a gauntlet. So I also there felt like the spotlight was on me too. So it was all really ridiculous because by the end of the 2 weeks, I didn't feel any spotlight. And in fact,
Really?
I didn't feel like anybody was really looking at me.
So it was you habituating to it. It wasn't people were saying mean things to you and like,
No, I mean, and never once did anybody say anything mean to me or make me feel.
wow.
I mean, a few friends of mine at work tried to make me feel stupid, but
Well.
because of my witty,
Good job, guys.
because of my wittiness and my quick thinking on my feet, I was just able to turn it around and make them feel stupid.
You did like the old rubber and glue one.
Right, that kind of
No,
thing.
you're wearing a skirt.
Right, exactly. No, your pants look stupid.
So it sounds like it was mostly in your head for the first part, but
Yeah.
also certainly I'm guessing the fact that you were in Seattle helps.
Well,
So-
not only Seattle, but I don't know for our listeners all over the place. I mean, a lot of our listeners are in Seattle, but a lot of them are from other far-flung places. Seattle is progressive in general, and then where I work in Fremont is extra progressive.
yeah.
In fact, it's got a motto called something like "Keep Fremont Weird."
I think there's some trademark issues with that.
What do you mean?
Well, Austin's thing is keep Austin weird.
Really?
And Portland also says keep Portland weird.
Let's see. Keep Fremont. I'm going to look.
I mean, I'm sure people say that, but like I wouldn't print it on a mug. Fremont, come up with something original. Did anyone? You're Googling that right now.
Yeah, I
aren't
was trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
find it.
you? Okay, you can Google later, Mark.
Yeah, keep Fremont weird with the Fremont Fair Solstice Parade. That was one of the headlines I just
Yeah.
found.
Is there like a little registered R circle after?
No,
the
because I'm pretty sure that weird is not registered. And neither is the word keep. Anywho,
Okay, so no one aside from your work friends who were deliberately teasing and mocking you. Again, nice work, guys.
and it's really only like 2 people, and John Madden will remain nameless.
He's awesome. Anyone else? Any like looks of like disgust or horror, or was it just people
No.
looking at you like,
No,
oh,
just-
hey, there's that dude?
Well, right. And sometimes I'd be talking to people and I'd notice their eyes flick down and then back up.
Oh,
So I actually felt that,
interesting. Whoa, for like the first time in your life.
What makes you say that? But some other great things about this was that we were going through a pretty big heat wave in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
It was really nice and breezy under there. So that was great.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, it really
Less
is. Now,
swampy.
oh my God. Yes, much less moist.
Yeah.
God.
I'm keeping that in.
Okay. Where was
Heat wave.
I? Heat wave.
Icy cool.
The kilt has tons of fabric in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this was, also like a utility kilt. And so it had huge pockets that added to the amount of fabric and lots of pleats in the back. And I don't know if regular kilts have that many pleats going on in the back, but for any kind of benefit that I got from it being nice and breezy and stuff, I think that the heaviness and the amount of fabric kind of reduced how buoyant it was. I was kind of jealous of my women coworkers who were wearing like flouncy little skirts and things.
It's definitely a step towards the direction of men being allowed to wear more kinds of clothing in society. But unless you live in Olympia, it's certainly, I think you would be looked askance if you wore an actual summer weight skirt.
Yeah, right. And that was true because you got into your lecturing deep voice just then.
Yes, that
Yes.
means it's true. I'm
That
not
means
just
it's
making
true.
stuff up.
Right, exactly. So the amount of fabric hindered
Mhm.
me, and I would say is a negative about just wearing a
Kilts in
utility
general.
style kilt in general.
Well, in heat. I mean, that will help you in winter.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But no, what I was going to say was two things that came to mind was one, I eat at my desk all the time. And
Mhm.
when I'm wearing pants, I can spread my legs apart and just let the food fall down between my legs onto the floor.
You're admitting this. Okay, yeah, that's great. Kendra's going to love this episode.
Yeah. And with a kilt on, the food
So
was just
correct.
get caught on top of the skirt.
Yeah.
And because it was sort of this tan khaki color, I had to be really careful because I didn't want to have to wash it all the time.
Right, because pants never get dirty, but skirts.
Right. Well, see, because I wear the exact same looking pants all the time. They're just jeans. I have like 4 or 5 pairs of jeans. They all look exactly alike and they're
Oh,
dark
yeah.
blue. So
You can
when
wipe your hands on them.
Ah, totally, right? I mean, they're basically like magic. Any kind of dirt and grossness just gets wicked away someplace. I'm not sure where it goes exactly.
Sure.
It could
Yeah.
be that the dog licks it off without me noticing when I get home.
For all you people out there who don't have brothers, this is what it's like, just so you know.
It's pretty great, right, Julie?
Yeah.
So there was that, just having the fabric in the way there. And
Yep.
then the other part was going to the bathroom when I had to go to and sit down. Now, granted, I did a bunch of research before I started wearing a skirt on kilt. Believe it or not, Julie, there's actually many kilt forums out there.
Oh my gosh.
Right? You could easily find them. And one thread that I found had a bunch of men talking about how do I go poo with a kilt on? How do I do that? And they were suggesting different things. People were drawing diagrams, etc.
Oh my gosh.
And then a woman
You
wrote
have to
in
link to
saying,
that.
"Oh God, I can't believe you guys are so stupid. This is a skill that I learned when I was 5. This is not
Exactly.
rocket science."
Because
blah, blah, blah.
every 4-year-old girl pees on her skirt by accident when she sits on the toilet, and then you learn bunch it up in the back.
Right.
Lift
So
that thing up.
But I think this woman was not being at all sympathetic to the plight of the kilt-wearing man. And it's just typical woman-first attitude, really.
Well, just typical. Well,
Just typical.
I was wondering more about number 1, like when you're standing at a urinal.
Oh, that was pretty easy because you do just bunch it up in front.
But the social pressure of like other men coming in.
I don't know
Or-
if you knew this, but like guys aren't watching each other go pee in the urinals.
Okay,
It's
I
not a
forgot about
thing.
that.
I don't know what your weird fantasy is about that.
But aren't you guys just talking and chatting and sharing your emotions and
No,
stuff?
well, maybe, but maybe when there's a situation where there's a bunch of urinals across a row, but at work, where that's really during the last 2 weeks, for some reason, the only time I actually used one because I didn't really get out much. I don't know why.
You're not drinking enough water. You were dehydrated. from the
Maybe
heat.
it's a single urinal situation. There are
Oh, okay.
double urinals. There's not like a whole bank of a wall of them. And
Yeah,
it's
I was
certainly not,
imagining a row.
it's certainly not like the carnival trough style urinal that you get at the sideshows.
And sideshows that you like to go to on the
That's
weekends.
right. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I think we can move on from
Well,
this.
no, I haven't finished
Oh,
the number
oh,
2
oh
story.
my gosh.
So yeah, so I tried like what you said, bunching up and back, but because of all the fabric that I was talking about
Oh,
and
right.
all the pockets and stuff, it would not bunch up. And I was like, what do I do? Like stick it down my collar? Do I bunch it back up into the belt
Right,
of
and you don't want
itself?
stuff falling out of your pockets.
Right. And there was actually, I was using my pockets quite a bit because they're great pockets on it. So I was using my pockets quite a lot. Yeah. So eventually I just would have to take it off, which led to its own problem.
Ugh, dirty floor.
No, I work
Oh,
for
this is our
I work for a double A company where we have, little hooks on the bathroom stalls.
Okay.
And it's not like in your cow shed that you work where you have to find like, I don't know, a fence post or something to hang your stuff on. At my work, we have these things. So the problem was because I knew it was going to be a hassle, I would wait until the very last moment when I had to go.
No,
And
that's so
I would
bad
be
for
like
you.
rushing to the bathroom and then trying to take this thing off. And I had a belt on, and then the kilt that I bought, I really like it a lot, but it has 2 buckles on the side
Oh yeah,
that I
it
had to follow
does.
with, and then like 10 snaps across the front. And so it took like there were some, I'll just say some near misses.
Oh, oh my
So that was the hard part about having all of the fabric. Let me.
So you should have practiced basically until you could have like done it in the dark.
I
in,
think that's
20
true.
seconds down.
You're absolutely right. I should have practiced it. I should have figured out how to lift
Blindfolded.
it up. Right, exactly. The pockets of the kilt were great. Oh, the other really interesting thing, we talked about this a little bit in the first half of this episode, which was like the cultural and political aspects of a man wearing a skirt, right?
Yeah.
Well, one interesting thing about that was wearing a skirt gives a man, well, it let me think that I now had a key in which I could enter in women's society and talk freely with women about their skirts and dressing habits.
So does that mean like if you start wearing lipstick, you'll be able to walk around and be like, "So, ladies,
Yes.
what do we think about eyeshadow?"
That's
And,
exactly right.
Okay,
So
now I know.
I had a nice conversation with my friends Megan and Jessica at one of our business meetings, all about skirts because it was the first time they saw me wearing my skirt.
Right.
Got into talking about all how to use it and how to sit properly, and the modesty of wearing a skirt and all that kind of stuff. And it was really great because they gave me some tips.
Cool.
Okay, 2 more things. One was at that parade.
Yeah.
There was an acting troupe walking by, and I was standing up clapping, and one of the performers who was all done up turned to me and said, "Great skirt, great kilt, sir." And that's high praise, coming from somebody who's dressed up. And then
High praise.
High praise. And then also at first, I was also telling people that this is because of the podcast, whatever. And I'm not sure if I like it or not. But by the end, I was also telling people that it was because of the podcast. But now, yeah, I do actually like it. And it's been great wearing it in the heat and with all the pockets and stuff because it actually has more utility than my usual pants.
Well, let me ask you the same question I asked the others, which is if this isn't for your podcast anymore, would you adopt it as just part of your regular wardrobe?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
totally. And I'm going to try wearing it when it gets more into the fall weather to see if it's just way too cold.
Yeah.
The weirdest part was just on the bus and feeling like I've really got to make sure my legs are constantly together here. And also just standing on the bus, standing next to people. The kilt came down to my knees, which is actually longer than any pairs of shorts that I own.
Okay.
So in terms of that length, it was totally a modest thing wearing and much more modest than a lot of skirts. Oh, that I just happened to see. Not that I was like scouting out women's skirts while I was doing this.
It's okay. You don't need to explain this.
Thank you. There was some weirdness, like because it flares out a little bit since it has lots of fabric and pleats, like the skirt would be bumping against the shoulders of people that I would be standing next to.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt weird about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that you ever think about when you're wearing a skirt on a bus.
The more like rayon-y kind of skirts, they can start riding up if you have friction against anything. So you don't want to be like crowded in a bus or a train and then all of a sudden your skirt's riding up. I mean, it's just yuck.
Right. Yeah. So that was all my experiences with it. It was a wonderful, wonderful set of experiences.
Wow. I'm just really impressed that you did this. I think it's super brave, even though you work in Fremont. quote unquote keep Fremont weird, apparently.
Right.
I think for our 20-year anniversary
Uh-huh.
podcast,
Yeah.
you should do like much more like not manly kilts, but just like a simple straight skirt.
Well, I'm
just out of-
guessing by the time the 20-year rolls around, that'll be just part of the culture. How did your experience go, Julie?
For me, it was no big deal at all, except
Oh.
for while exercising.
Oh.
Overall, no big deal, except for when I would be running on base at this military installation where I work, because I'd be running in a skirt, not with headphones, and I don't look like, a really good runner when I run.
Wait, why can't you wear headphones?
For safety reasons, I'm not exactly sure if it's just my installation, but you're not supposed to run around with headphones on, so you can.
I bet people are just teasing you that you can't.
Someone told me that like 8 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
continue.
possible. Okay, so anyway, I just felt like when I was running, people would think that I was like fleeing for my life or in some sort of danger, especially since the service members, active duty service members who are exercising at the same time I am, because when I run in the morning, it's the same time they're doing PT, physical training. So there's like service members everywhere. Then I'm running through them and around them and, slower than them, of course. I felt so like, help, I'm running, and
But nobody ever said that to you. Nobody ever asked you, "Do you need help, ma'am?"
No, but there was like a lot of like, every time I pass somebody in general when I'm running, they're like, morning, ma'am. And so it's like everyone notices everything that's going on. You can't be running and people are just like in Seattle where it's like, or in New York where it's like, I'm in my own little world. These people don't exist around me. It's not that at all. Like if I'm just walking on the street normally and there's a car and I look telepathically like, hey, maybe I'll cross the road in the middle of the road. Maybe I'm going to jaywalk right now. The cars will stop. They're like, oh, I don't want to hit that lady. It's probably partly chivalry, but also it's just everyone's very aware. If you see a civilian, you notice them.
So why didn't you get like a sporty skirt?
I didn't want to buy anything.
So what kind of skirt were you wearing when you ran? Like your, I don't know, Louis Vuitton skirt? Is that a thing?
I don't know, probably. I know they made a sweatsuit.
Okay.
That's from a rap song. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, no, I wanted to be modest, so I was wearing like a knee-length denim skirt.
Ah,
denim. I wore denim because I
the
didn't want
ultimate exercise clothing.
Well, I didn't want it to flip up. I also, just
like
running.
on every downbeat of your run, it could catch a lot of air and just start ballooning up.
Well, let me just say, I am fast and I get a lot of vertical height. No,
Got
not
it.
at all. But still, I just wanted to be more modest. So, yeah, I don't know.
It looked like you were just running down the street in normal clothes.
Right, exactly.
Oh, God.
I stopped running. I just walked whenever people were around me. Whenever I was by myself, I would run.
Really? Even though nobody was actually saying anything, the pressure inside your head was enough to get you to change your own behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was doing this during people's physical training. So there's like, what happens is there's like groups of 10 troops together who are training and they're like all doing push-ups together and one person's leading. And then they're like, okay, now let's run for, 3 minutes or whatever. And so I don't want to like have a group of 10 troops being like, ma'am, you okay?
But it never happened.
In my brain, it did. I have it all worked out.
I think more research is needed.
I was a little conflict avoidant. Plus, I don't know, I was getting over a cold. So maybe I didn't actually feel like running. Spotlight thing that you experienced, I don't get that quite as much, but when I do dress up for work, like when we did our giving up dressing down episode,
Yeah.
I definitely felt a little spotlight. It's like, hey everyone, I'm trying today, and everyone would like make comments like, oh, you look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly not nearly the spotlight you felt on you, but it's still there. Whereas when I'm doing my normal gear at work, which is like some sort of random pants and sneakers from under my desk. I usually start my workday in nice shoes, and like a half hour in, I change into sneakers.
Oh, wait, are you one of those women who wear sneakers and skirts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Almost every day. Well, definitely for the last 2 weeks I was.
I thought that was frowned upon by culture.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it is, but I don't really care.
Okay, cool.
That was it for me. I'm
That
sorry,
was
my
it? That's
experience.
the only experience that you have to share?
I've been wearing a skirt for like many years.
Okay, so how did you figure out how to lift up your skirt before you
Probably trial and error. I'm sure mom taught me.
right?
I mean, I remember as a kid thinking, oh, skirts are way better than pants because all you got to do is lift it up and ta-da, you're ready to go. I mean, the worst thing for me was footy jammies. I remember like getting out of those and always dropping the sleeves in the toilet.
Oh my God, Jesus. Well, we should make a note to give up standard pajamas and get ourselves some footy pajamas.
Footy pajamas.
See how
Okay.
it goes.
Okay, that's it for me.
Well, that was
So-
great. Yeah, totally. I would highly recommend doing this to any guy out there. And I know there were a lot of guys checking me out, saying, wow, where'd you get that kilt in their heads because they were too scared to actually approach me about it.
Sure.
But there's lots of websites on there. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. Mine, I think, was like $60 for my kilt.
Yeah.
Very well made thing. And yeah, go try it out. It's really awesome.
Well, you can go to wagonpod.com to see the pictures, view show notes, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also connect with us on Facebook at the Station Wagon Podcast and Twitter at WagonPod. Also, if you have a chance, give us an iTunes review. That helps other listeners find out about us. Or share one of our posts on your Facebook wall and tell everyone, hey, you have to be listening to this. It is good.
Those are such great ideas, Julie.
Thank you. If you have other great ideas, you can email your suggestions to us at wagonpodcast@gmail.com.
Julie, do we have any new iTunes reviews for you to talk about?
No, we
Oh,
don't. So, hey, folks, give us an iTunes review.
Right.
Oh, thank you to the Pleasure Kills.
Thanks, Pleasure Kills.
For the use of the song Modern Problems.
Well, I bet they were in kilts when they sang that song.
Thanks to the friends of the show, the Washington Center for the Performing Arts, Olympia's Farm Fresh Market, and DJ Eternal Darkness.
Oh, also, you know what, Julie? We should probably thank our spouses and children, too. Thank you guys for supporting us.
Thanks, Snarla.
Oh, God.
She's going to love that.
Bye, Julie.
Bye, Mark.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. What about you? Me. What about you? Why are you
What
like
about
this?
you?